Motel 6 in southern New Mexico may not look like much. There's no swimming pool or room service. The only scenery is the I-10 across the way. But for these families who have just journeyed across the Mexican border, it's a godsend.
Sometimes they haven't eaten for 3 days. Sometimes they've had to share meals.
About 2 times a week, around 50 or so migrants are dropped off at this pop-up shelter called Colores United, run out of a couple of local hotels.
Why are you operating out of this hotel?
There's no other space that we're available to us. We hope that'll change one day, but we can't wait. We need a shelter and we needed it now.
But some in Deming worry that this could be the start of a new surge in arrivals.
Why are you concerned with migrants coming?
What I'm concerned with is, are we going to be able to process them? There's no way that we could dedicate the kind of manpower. There's just no way.
This town, a microcosm of the crisis at the southern border, grappling daily with the complexities and shortfalls of our nation's immigration system.
Breaking headline involving immigration and the situation on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Title 42, that Trump-era policy
that allows Border Patrol to turn away migrants to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Title 42 has been challenged in federal court, but for now, it remains in effect. Separately, the Supreme Court just overturned another Trump-era policy, referred to as Remain in Mexico, that forced migrants who are claiming asylum to await entry to the U.S. in Mexico. Tonight we speak to the asylum seekers in the crosshairs, the ones fleeing for their lives.
The
coyotes helping them cross.
Are you worried that what you're doing is illegal?
Para lo que a unos es ilegal, para nosotros es legal.
And the activists offering refuge when the journey becomes too dangerous.
What do you say to those people who say migrants should come and do it the right way?
If you're running from violence, what is the right way?
It's cramped quarters, but we can't complain.
Adriana Saludares founded this shelter in 2019. Most of the migrants she helps have already placed an asylum request with immigration officials so they can legally stay in the U.S. as their cases are processed.
I tease that nobody chooses Deming. They're just moving through. It might just be a stopover, and then they're going to wherever they're going.
Recent arrivals here come from as near as Colombia and as far as Turkey, but they are the lucky ones. Some asylum seekers from other countries like Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras are more often turned away under the controversial Trump-era policy, Title 42. It's a health policy meant to slow the spread of COVID-19, but activists say it does much more.
Personally, it has kept a lot of individuals from being able to fulfill their constitutional right. It's not a migration or an immigration control. It never was meant to be, but that's how it got used.
It is a legal requirement of the U.S. to allow people who get to the United States to apply for asylum. What Title 42 has done is create a legal fiction that says that people are not in the United States and therefore don't have the right to apply for asylum.
It's estimated that as many as 18,000 migrants will cross into the U.S. if the policy is lifted, more than double the 7,000 a day currently coming. Deming's mayor, Benny Hasso, is concerned for his town if Title 42 goes away.
I don't fault them for wanting a better life. The only difference now is that we do not have the volunteer base right now to establish a shelter. We don't.
Is the federal government providing resources that you might need in case there are asylum seekers that do qualify for asylum that might end up in this area?
Not to us.
Clint Hogan is the Deming police chief.
Do you feel, Chief, that it creates any kind of security issues when you have the migrants come here?
No, ma'am. We don't have any issues with the people there at all.
But Ariana says her experience has been different.
You had mentioned that the city is becoming more anti-immigrant by the day. Can you explain that?
There's only a few, but they just so happen to be the loudest that will say the worst things.
Ariana and her staff have noticed an increasing hostility.
What kind of threats are you getting?
We were told that they would figure out a way for me to lose my home if I had them on my house and my property.
But Ariana refuses to abandon these families in need.
¿Cómo se siente aquí con mi grupo de Colores Unidos en la shelter acá?
Pues tranquila, tranquilas y pues de donde estábamos, sí, claro, seguras y ya más confortable todo.
This woman had just fled Colombia with her 10-year-old daughter when we met her. She says she left after receiving threats over debts her ex-husband owed.
¿Cuál es su sueño americano?
Pues ya estando acá, pues básicamente pues ellas pues trabajar, pues conseguir una casa, tener como una estabilidad.
But not everyone is so lucky. Just over the Mexican border in Tijuana, you'll find many migrant families stuck here.
It's become an additional barrier, and also it's caused a lot of heartache for these families.
Many are blocked by Title 42. Others here in Mexico by that other policy, formerly called the Migrant Protection Protocol, known to most as Remain in Mexico.
Turning back people who have legitimate asylum claims is a major issue and does damage to the credibility of the United States. None of these measures that were designed to just make the border harder to cross really dealt with the fundamental issues.
Estefanía Rebellón is the co-founder and executive director of Yes We Can. The organization operates this school within this shelter.
When a kid comes into our program, we give them 2 uniforms and a backpack full of supplies, and everything is free of charge.
Okay, entonces decimos, I am, yo soy, I, ¿qué es I?
This shelter offers free education and a place to live while they wait to cross into the U.S.
We focus on full-time education, meaning that we're here every single day, Monday through Friday. People think about shelter and water, but for children, we believe that education is just as vital.
Good evening. Welcome.
The quarters are cramped, but this family of 5 is grateful.
Aquí dormimos nosotros, mi esposa y yo. Mi hijo duerme aquí en esta hamaca que le hice y ya nosotros dormimos aquí en la cama. No es lo mismo estar en nuestra casa, pero pues gracias a Dios tenemos donde vivir y donde dormir.
They're just one of the many families at the shelter who need help preparing their asylum request. They were forced to flee their hometown of Acapulco, Mexico, earlier this year.
Yo estaba en mi trabajo en la playa, llegaron 2 personas a cobrar mi cuota y pues yo le dije que nadie cobraba.
In their hometown and other parts of Mexico, extortion is common. This reality has helped make Acapulco the 2nd deadliest city in the world.
2 personas, 2 muchachos, y me dispararon 2 balas. Uno lo tiro aquí y otra acá. De hecho, las tengo adentro.
Nada grave que se murió o algo así. Eso también cuenta mucho porque, pues, realmente no sabría qué hacer sin mí.
The oldest daughter, just 18 years old, still vividly remembers the rush to find a safe haven after she started getting anonymous threats on social media.
¿Tú tienes esperanza de que tú y tu familia van a poder conseguir asilo y irse a vivir a Estados Unidos?
Pues tenemos la fe que sí, que vamos a pasar. Ahorita estamos esperando aquí a ver qué día nos toca la oportunidad de...
¿Ustedes están conscientes de que hay personas en Estados Unidos que no quieren a familias como ustedes? ¿Qué les dicen?
Pues sí, sabemos que sí, que hay mucho racismo y sabemos que las personas buenas pues saben que uno acá de este lado está pasando por una crisis muy grande pues y más que nada también ellos yo creo que ven en los niños que son el futuro del mundo.
Up next.
¿Y qué pasó con la promesa de traerte a Estados Unidos?
Pues nunca llegó.
The horrifying risks migrants face to get over the border into the United States. And the 3rd-generation coyote who for decades has helped them get across.
Pero hay maneras legales de cruzar y hay maneras ilegales.
We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.